my name is Amy. Welcome to my channel. Today we'll be using this collage sheet from Book of Magic on Etsy. I'll leave you the link in the description so you can go get yours. It's only $1.11 to download, and then you just print it with a LaserJet printer and you're ready to go. So this is a design that I made for moon rituals, and we're going to make it into a pocket and then write out our intentions on a note paper and place those intentions into the pocket in a really beautiful way. So I wanted to tell you a little story about how I first learned about moon rituals. And it all started back in 2017 when a friend of mine invited me to a women's circle. And I didn't even know what women's circle was, but I was like, okay, it sounds pretty cool. I heard it's a gathering of women and just kind of hang out and talk about like maybe crystals and oils and, our feelings and stuff like that. That's like to the extent that I could imagine it. So I went with my friend and I was just changed forever. It was the most wonderful experience I had ever had. What I found out and what it actually was a group of women who were all, going through something in their lives, whether it was positive or negative to them. They came together and each one got to share a little piece of their life as we went around the circle and talked about ourselves, introduced ourselves. It was called checking in. So you check in whatever way you are when you show up, and then we would check in at the end, and everyone was changed from when they first walked in. So it was cool to hear about the way they checked out. But anyway, there was this concept introduced to me there that was called a moon ritual. And what it was is that you work with the energy of the moon, whether it be a new moon or a full moon, and you set intentions in a way that you write them on a piece of paper, and then we went outside and we threw them in a fire pit and burnt them. And it was just so cool. Like I never thought about doing that before, and I never, my mind wasn't expanded out enough to think about all the different ways to do rituals in our lives that were so beneficial. So I learned through the years that with the full moon, you are primarily writing intentions about releasing something. And then with the new moon, you're primarily writing intentions about bringing something to you or receiving something. And recently, I came to the understanding that you can do both at both moons, because in order to let go of something, or actually when you let go of something, you always receive something new. So you can set an intention of what you'd like to receive, after you let go. And then with the new moon, you can set your intention of what you want, and you can also talk about all the things that you're releasing. So you can do both, or either or, whichever. But just the whole concept is really beautiful to me, and I thought that I would make a series of really beautiful pockets that we can put our intentions into and save them and look back on them later. So here we have this beautiful lady drinking her tea, And this glue that I'm using, this one's left over from a class that I had, but it's actually matte gel medium, and it's, most of us who do collage work know about this, but if you haven't used it, it's found in the fine art section of the craft stores. It's near the acrylic paint because it's actually used to add to your acrylic paint in order to give it a matte finish. But magically, it's a very beautiful adhesive. It's very lightweight, and it glues paper to paper just perfectly, that with minimal air bubbles. So I love using this for collage. But when there's like heavier paper, I use other types of glue that are heavier. And I'm going to be using Elmer's glue to actually glue the pocket to the page. And sometimes I use Fabri-Tac glue because that's really amazing. And it dries super fast. So this is just kind of a lot of a back and forth, just checking to see if you've got the pieces glued together. That seems good. So sometimes when you print these out, they don't come out as dark as you'd like them to be. And this happened to me with this one. So I'm just drawing over the lines that are already there with a regular pencil and kind of smearing it. But I have printed it out before, and then after I print it out, then I'll make a copy of it, and then I can darken the levels of ink that I use. So I'm going to use some golden fluid acrylics again. And I'll have the names of the colors in the description in case you're interested. I love this pink magenta. Very vibrant. And this is kind of the meditative part for me, just always swirling paint and having my music on and kind of zoning out. That's what I really love about art journaling. And then we always move our candle out of the way so that we can blow dry and quickly move on to the next step, because nobody wants to sit around waiting for their paint to dry. Okay, this looks really lovely. And by the way, the paper that I'm working on top of, the one that I painted on with the pink, that's just copy paper in my junk journal. Now I'm using this Elmer's glue just halfway up the sides and around the bottom so that we can make it a pocket. And I want to make sure that her bun, just for me, I mean, it's a preference, but I didn't want her bun to stick up over the top of the page. Sometimes I do that, like some of my other pages have things sticking up off the top, but I wanted this one to be a little lower. Very nice, very nice. And then this is going to be our note paper for our intentions, and this is copy paper. It's folding it in half, and then I'm going to tear a pretty narrow piece, and I kind of make it as even as I can on the sides. And then I'm gonna put it inside the pocket and see if it fits pretty nicely to where it can slip in and out easily. So it'll be like a long list you can make, or you'll have plenty of room to write. And let's see. Yes, seems to fit well. I like it. Very good, very good. All right, so now we are going to put some flowers on the outside of this. And I will be using this watercolor paper I got this at the Five Below store. It's pretty good quality, actually. I don't know the brand, but I'll find out and I'll put it in the description. So this watercolor paper is very sturdy, and I'm able to add a lot of water to the high flow acrylics, and this paper takes it excellent. It doesn't buckle at all. So I'm using my pansies here on my table for inspiration, and for any flowers that you're gonna paint, I recommend to get a photo reference, or if you happen to have a bouquet of flowers right in front of you, to look at those and just sketch them loosely with paint. And then if you don't like the way they come out, just scoot over and paint some more. And I think the key to making these flower bouquets that I make, to making them look really pretty, is that I vary the size of the flowers and I vary the size of the leaves. So these flowers are on the smaller side of what I'm going to be making. So there's actually, let's call these bigger flowers here medium size, and then there's the smaller ones around the edges. And I'm varying the size of leaves that I add. And then I'm gonna just add a little more color to these to make them more interesting. Not that they weren't interesting, just, straight orange, but just gonna add a little pop. Yes, it's very nice. So the next flowers that I'm going to make, they're also going to be poppies, but they're going to be a little bit bigger than these, and I'm going to make less of them. So I'm going to make 3 of these, and they're all going to be a bit larger than the orange ones I just made. Did I call them poppies? Pansies. Yeah, pansies. I really love this flower so much, and there's so many variations in color of it. It's just amazing. They really are this dark. There's some of them that are this dark, and I love it. And I just added black to the magenta color. So I'm not worried about these looking like photorealistic at all. In fact, I like them better when they're loose and, I'm going to say it, they're a little sloppy, but that's how I like them. They're not meant to be like a photo perfect. They're painterly, they're paint sketchy, and that's how I like to work. It feels really free and comfortable. And I think that there are so many areas in my life that I'm so hard on myself to be perfect. For some reason, in my journal, I'm not. I just allow myself. I think it's because I've been practicing in it for so long that I allow myself to just play. I've been art journaling for, I was just trying to figure out how long, and it's been about 15 years. Yeah, consistently, maybe like 10 years. But I don't know, maybe longer than that. I don't know. I'm going to say 15 years. It's been a really long time. And I freaking love it. In fact, I love it more and more all the time. I really love this green. And I couldn't tell you the name of it right now, but I'm going to leave it in the description. It might be called gold green or something like that. Anyway, it's kind of mixing with that real dark purple. And it's making some really pretty color variations I love. So again, I made a sprig, is that a word? A sprig of leaves that are kind of medium size. And there's more of them. And I also made a smaller cluster of leaves that are bigger, but there's less of them. It's the balance that we're creating. And then I thought I would add a little more variation in color to these with this Posca paint pen. I love these Posca paint pens. And then this is just a Sharpie. And I've really been loving Sharpies lately. Like, I've been loving writing with them in my journal. For some reason, I just feel really good in my hand. So this is another part of the process that I really love. I love cutting. This is so meditative for me. So I'm cutting around all of these flowers and leaves, and I'm leaving a little white border around each. Just gotta add this. This is bothering me. I don't know why. It's just a quick little stem. So now we're gonna add these to the note paper. And this part is like, it's a lot of back and forth and sort of flower arranging. I feel like a florist here for a minute. But just kind of sticking things in and trying to figure out where I like them best. And wherever I end up deciding that they go, I'm going to try and hold them there as I pull the piece of paper out at the same time. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So I'm basically just trying to remember the placement that I like, and then I'm going to wing it. So, oh jeez. yeah. Sometimes I can't hold it all together. So I'm just going to like kind of guesstimate, and I'm using Elmer's glue. I'm going to put the glue on and then kind of adjust the flower after I place the paper back in there. This part is fun. It's like creative problem solving for me. So because the glue isn't dry, I can still kind of scoot the flowers around where I want them to be. And then I gotta keep making sure that I don't glue the two pieces of paper together, or the front and the back of the paper together. So I think that I want it to go there, and I'm gonna place it back here and adjust. Yes, I like the way that looks. So now I try to keep it as still as possible and then add glue to keep it there. It's all very tricky, but it's worth it. This is why, like, only 4 pieces of collage elements for this part is good. If we get too many, then it's kind of a nightmare to try and glue them all on exactly where you need them to be. So yeah, I like how this is looking. Very beautiful. And let's try these. And I don't know why I keep trying to do it this way, because I end up just putting a little bit of glue on it and then sticking it back in there and adjusting it every time. So I think that's the best way to do it, is put a little bit of glue, put the flower on top of the glue, stick it back behind into the pocket, and adjust it while it's still wet, and then leave it still so it can dry. Yes, very good. Very beautiful. So that's exactly where I want it. So I'm going to press down and keep it there. And then I want to keep making sure that I don't glue the front and the back together. So I pull those apart again very gently, because they were starting to stick together. And then for our last piece, we are gonna get these other leaves on here. Now for these, I think that I'm gonna glue them on the back. Let me see. I think I glue them back. Yeah, that doesn't work as well. Yeah, this has worked better. I like the way this looks. So I think I'm gonna glue them back behind. I would recommend that. And then just press down. Yes, very nice. And now that it is on there, I'm gonna pull it out and just further lock it in place. Flatten it out wipe this excess off. And hey, you know what? I just want to thank you right now for being here with me. And if you haven't already, please give this video a like and subscribe if you like this kind of stuff. I really do appreciate it. Ah, yes, it's very lovely. I like it a lot. So this is where you would write your intentions, and I write all the way down the page. You can write on the outsides of the page, but for right now, I'll just show you that much of it. And then the last step would be to write a word on the cup that inspires you right now. And so there it is. Thank you again for sharing this time with me, and I look forward to many more moon ritual videos with you. Follow Book of Magic on Instagram and Etsy, and I'll leave the links in the description so that you can check us out.